What are the most important trade fairs? Techtextil and Texprocess. And their most valuable guests, Frau Fügung and Mr. Chance. After all, it's when you just bump into someone. It's the unplanned encounters that make trade fairs such a source of groundbreaking ideas and limitless progress. Here in Frankfurt, we actively organize these coincidences. Welcome to Techtextil. This is the world's key event for technical textiles and nonwovens. We offer a diverse range of products across 12 application areas for industries from automotive to fashion, medicine, and construction. But we don't stop at showcasing the bright sparks from the best R&D departments and their innovations. We showcase how ideas become reality, how they turn into tangible results. Welcome to Texprocess. This is the leading international trade fair for the garment manufacturing and processing of textile and flexible materials. This is where we demonstrate how smart machines help transform textile dreams into hard-working realities. We do this with the help of digitalization, AI, proven know-how, and state-of-the-art efficiency tools. Techtextil and Texprocess. 2 trade fairs, endless encounters. Now all we're waiting for is you.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you here for the opening press conference of Techtextil and Texprocess. So a very warm welcome from me and the whole team of Techtextil and Texprocess. Now, if you look at what's going to happen on the stage today, it gives you a sense of what innovation actually means for the textile industry. So it's not just an idea, it's not a concept, but it's something that's performing under real circumstances and under demanding circumstances as well. So thank you for taking the time today, either here at the fairground or via our stream. Now, Techtextil and Texprocess are where innovation of materials, of technologies, and of processing are coming together. It's the place where materials go beyond what was possible before. And it's where technologies are redefined and revealed new ones as well. And it's also the place where solutions are developed and are becoming, especially in a more and more demanding environment. So saying all this, it means that the connection between material innovations and also to the processing technologies becomes very essential. Now, our press conference today will give you, at the beginning, a broader view on our fairs. Then it will make the innovations vivid and awake them to life. And finally, we're going to have a moderated conversation that puts everything into the context. And this moderated expert talk will be led by Merle Becker. You've met Merle Becker already during our press conference for Techtextil and Texprocess during Heimtextil. So Merle, it's a pleasure to have you with us again. And Merle will also introduce our expert a bit later on. But before we go into the program, I would ask Detlef Braun, member of our executive board, to the stage. He will give you a strategic view on Techtextil and Texprocess. Stage is yours.
The good old thing. I feel much more comfortable with this one. I wanted to avoid this. Thank you, Yvonne, for this lovely introduction. It's a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to see so many experts and familiar faces here in the audience. Thank you for taking the time. And I would like to welcome as well 1,700 companies who are showcasing their innovations over the next 4 days here in Frankfurt at Techtextil and Texprocess. Ladies and gentlemen, this is worldwide the #1 platform for textile innovation. It's going to be a firework of innovation, what you're going to experience and what you're going to see here over the next 4 days. But I would like to start, and Yvonne, you said it already, a little bit to put what is going to happen the next 4 days in a broader perspective, in a bigger picture. I think you will not disagree when I'm going to say that the world is a little bit crazy, that it lost a little bit its balance. Tensions geopolitically are increasing, trade relations are shifting, and I'm not talking about deglobalization. It's a recalibrating of trade relations in the world. Energy and transport routes are becoming less predictable. Energy shock, price increase of energy, and the recent, unfortunately, developments, for example, what is going to happen at the moment in the Middle East, show how quickly and basically overnight conditions can change. And this is, of course, directly influencing our industry. And honestly, if you're going to ask me, I'm afraid that this might not be only a temporary phase. It's going to be a structural shift. And it has to change how companies are operating. Decisions are increasingly made under uncertainty and not after it. And waiting, ladies and gentlemen, does not create certainty. It only delays action. In this environment, one capability becomes really critical. Across markets, across partners, and across the whole value chain, from idea to application. And this is exactly where we, as Messe Frankfurt, with our platforms come in. With our Texpertise network, we connect the global industry across with more than 60 international big leading events. In total, we have participating nations of 180 countries around this world who are visiting our platforms around the world. We cover the whole textile value chain, from fiber to processing to end use. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is not a collection of events. It is an infrastructure for exchange, orientation, and for business. And we are growing in this Texpertise network. We are continuing to develop this infrastructure, and there is news to come. For the first time, we will launch a new event right in one of the capitals of the textile and fashion industry, in Milan 2027. The name of the new show will be Value, and I have seen already my wonderful team from Italy, Federica with his team. Where are you? You are already hard working. I cannot see you. Not so shy. I know that you're here. Here you are. Absolutely. This reflects a clear development in the market. Global sourcing is becoming more differentiated, and specific segments are evolving with very distinctive requirements. And this new show, the name will be Value Milan, addresses the premium segment with a curated format that connects selective manufacturers with decision makers looking for high quality materials and long-term business relations. It is focused addition to our portfolio, designed for a clearly defined part of the market. And different segments require different formats, and each of them needs the right environment to work with. And we think that Milano, for us to extend our portfolio in apparel textiles, is a perfect next destination. And now it brings me to today. Within this global network, there are a few events that set the pace and are really crown jewels in our portfolio and for the entire industry. Techtextil and Texprocess are among them. They are not only, as I mentioned before, leading trade fairs. They are working platforms for industrial progress. Or, to put it in one sentence, this is where the industry shows how innovation becomes reality. Let me give you a little sense about the scale of this fair. More than 1,500 exhibitors, in total where more than 100 nations are participating at Techtextil, including over 120 exhibitors who are here brand new for the first time. And 200 exhibitors from 28 countries at Texprocess. In this demanding and challenging current environment, this level of participation is anything but self-evident. And I would like to congratulate very much, I'm very proud about my textile team here, headed by Stefan, Olaf, Sabine, and Yvonne, working here and in charge of Techtextil and you have more than delivered in really challenging times. And it shows that one thing is very clear: the pressure to adapt is high, and so is the readiness to move. And what makes this combination so relevant and unique is what it connects. Material on the one hand, industrial production at the other one. And that leads to a key point. The real competition is no longer about generating ideas. It is about bringing them into industrial use, and this very quickly. Let me make this concrete. When we are talking about technical textiles, we are not only talking about fabrics in the traditional sense. We are talking about materials that perform, materials that unfold in milliseconds and may save lives in a car accident, or materials that reduce the weight of buildings and lower energy consumption over decades, or protective equipment that not only shields people, but also monitors their condition in real time. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not anymore a niche. This is a measurable impact in real application. And this is why this industry is so important and matters. It is an industry you rarely see, but one you depend on every day. Without these materials, many technology would not function. Textiles have become a key enabled technology across different industry. And against this background, 3 developments I would like to mention, and they stand out. First, as an example, we talk about sustainable performance. Sustainability on a worldwide scale has moved from ambition to a basic requirement. But the key question is no longer whether something is sustainable. The question is, can it deliver the required performance under real condition and at scale? At Techtextil, more than 110 exhibitors are presenting bio-based and circular solutions. They go from automotive to construction to industrial use. Sustainability only creates value when it works in industrial practice. The second example I would like to mention and highlight is the topic of automation, digitalization, and artificial intelligence. On Texprocess, these developments are clearly visible in production. From digital product development to automated manufacturing to artificial support quality control, and this in real time. These technologies address very concrete challenges. On the one side, cost pressure, limited availability of skilled labor, and increasing complexity. But they also have a broader consequence. They increasingly influence where production will be located in the near future. And the third example belongs to performance textiles in application. This is one of the most dynamic areas. Around 140 exhibitors are presenting solutions in performance apparel. Here, innovation becomes directly visible. Textiles today can protect, they can regulate, they can measure, and they can adapt. They are used in sport, in workwear, protective equipment, and increasingly demanding environments. This is all about reliability under real conditions, including in safety-critical context. And one final point, ladies and gentlemen, innovation in this industry does not happen into isolation. It happens through cooperation. That's why we bring together, this time, for the first time, around 40 research institutes, around 20 startup companies, and of course, established industrial companies. This creates direct links between development and application and reduces time to market. And this leads to a broader question: how quickly can innovation be translated into application? Because that is what determines competitiveness, and this is not answered in the same way everywhere. Different regions around the world are setting different priorities in regulation, investment, and in industry policy. If production moves, know-how follows. And once it's gone, it's really difficult to bring it back. And this is why framework conditions matter for innovation, production, and investment. So what does this mean? The decisive factor is no longer what is technically possible. The decisive factor is what can be implemented, reliably, economically, and at scale. And if I have to summarize this, Techtextil and Texprocess show what is moving into the industry reality now. And this brings me to one final point. What we have been talking about is the connection between material innovation and real-world application. And this is exactly what you will see here now on stage. In performance apparels on stage, functional textiles are not presented as materials, but they are presented as applications. Curated by an expert jury, thank you for your hard and dedicated work, and brought to life here, now on stage. This is exactly where innovation becomes visible in real application. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have the pleasure to enjoy what I just said. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for supporting Techtextil, Texprocess in your media around the world. And as I mentioned at the beginning, enjoy this firework of innovation here over the next 4 days. Thank you very much.
to Techtextil and Texprocess 2026. Welcome to all of you joining us here at Messe Frankfurt, and to those of you joining us online, it's a pleasure to have you. My name is Melle Becker, and it's my honor to lead you through this rather special press conference today. 2 trade fairs and 1 big question: what does a textile need to do today? And as we could just see, the answer is probably quite simple: almost everything. Everything you saw just before on this catwalk, all the products, they were innovation in action, or as Detlef Brown just put it, where innovation becomes reality. All these products were curated by an independent expert jury, which consists of Hendrik Bayer from the Saxon Textile Research Institute, Nora Kühner from Fashion Design Consulting, and Wolfgang Kettner from BTTA. And last but not least, my guest for today, Judith Bosch. Judith has spent the last 7 years at the heart of the European textile policy, running the SmartTex Innovation Hub at the European Technology Platform for the Future of Textiles and Clothing in Brussels. But before that, she was in global supply chains, sourcing outerwear for Mango, Gap, and other brands. And she was also developing functional textiles at the University of Haute-Alsace. Judith, please do me the pleasure and join me on stage. Judith Bosch.
Thank you. So thank you very much for having me here today at the press conference and talking about, because we are going to go through these amazing developments and have a bit of a chat about performance, apparel, the importance of all the process. So not only from fibers, but as well the scale up, so the part of text process, the machinery. So I'm super glad to
I'm
be
so glad
here
too.
today.
And you know, we'll have around 15 minutes to speak to each other. I'm the one asking the questions first, and then afterwards I'll open up for a few more minutes so you are free to bring in your questions. Judith, I just presented you and I mentioned that you have a background in fashion, in really fashion brands, but also in functional textiles. What would you say, what's the difference between those two worlds?
Well, I think if we have to separate the two worlds, we will need another stage to talk about it and to talk about the difference. But as sum up, we can say that the production journey is often really similar. But how I would like to differentiate them, and we have a newsletter that it's called actually that way, it's the add-on. So when you want or you need a performance textile, you need to add on. You need to add on functionalities, new fabrics, resins, composites. So as much performance you need, more add-ons you need to add.
And what would you say are the latest developments when we look into performance? What right now has fundamentally changed in the recent years?
Well, it's still like protection. I mean, protection, it's always at a higher level, and performance, they are two both related. But of course, we are talking more and more about durability. So we want that the garments are more durable, so they last longer time. And as well, we are now talking a lot about sustainability. We have many concerns, for example, PFAS-free, that we want to remove PFAS from especially technical garments, which is quite complicated, and it's a big challenge in technology. So as a sum up, I would say durability, well, protection, durability, and of course, sustainability and comfort. We cannot forget comfort, because more and more we are more focused on ergonomics and the comfort of the workers, that they have to use those apparel.
I mean, if you have to work it the whole day, it has
Exactly.
to be comfortable, right? I noticed that we still have the pleasure to have some models here with us on stage.
Yes.
What about like looking into these products a bit closer?
So
Maybe we could start
we're
over
gonna
here.
go
Let's go over
first,
here.
with
That's a
our-
Molotov cocktail protective suit.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I mean, that was one, because I was part of the jury member that we selected the 11 apparels for states, and that one stood up because you can see, I think here it's a good representation of what Techtextil, Texprocess is, because we have developments and we have innovation in the fiber, in the yarn, in the fabric construction, and moreover as well on the assembly, so on the part of the text process, on the technology, how it has been assembled. Because the particularity basically is that it's really light. So, I mean, I'm not sure you're going to be able to touch it, but basically it's really light compared to other garments that have the same performance. And that helps as well the comfort of the workers, because we are thinking that people who wear these type of things for hours, and explosion can happen anytime, so they cannot be removed.
And do you know what was the biggest challenge? The protection, because it's a Molotov cocktail protection suit, or is it the long-term variability? What was the hardest to produce here?
I would say really it's like on the fabric and the fiber construction, and that was the biggest challenge, because you have to reduce. Because basically when there is an explosion, what happens is that, let's see there's a book. So basically you burn the layers of the book until there's nothing. So this is why it's the fiber, the fabric and the fiber construction.
And Judith, I tried to bring in a Molotov cocktail. I wasn't allowed, but I really wanted to try what actually happens if I threw one. I won't, don't worry. But if I did, what would happen to the textile?
So we are not getting crazy here. We don't have Molotov cocktails, I promise. But basically what will happen is that we see that the garment is a bit thick, but after we throw the Molotov cocktail, it will look probably thinner than a paper, but he will be completely safe. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, all of you. We don't have like any testing at the parking lot. And he's safe.
He looks fine to me.
Yes.
What would you say is the role of precise workmanship when it comes to such a product?
But actually, we can do a lot of developments on fabric, fibers, mixing and adding composites and all that. But if we don't have a way of creating the apparel, what's the point? So that's really the important of the workmanship. So the construction, going to the machinery, do the innovation as well in the machinery, positioning certain resins faster or composites, and as well a bit thinking on circularity, because these machines, they have to recover certain waste.
So in all these times of artificial intelligence and machines, we still need the human behind it to create such an innovation. Yeah,
exactly.
Let's look over here. We have another model over here. It's the warp knitted UV protection jacket. And if I got it right, this jacket has a UV protection of 50 plus without any chemical finishing, right?
Exactly. That's what stood out, that basically has UV protection, because we talk workwear, so we are all the time thinking about apparel workwear. And when we do that, what we think first is firefighters, militaries, but we are forgetting completely about the people who are like performing work in the streets under like heat temperatures, because some areas in Europe and in the world, they're really, really warm. And we already know that ultraviolet light, it can really damage skin and can create certain diseases. So that stood out because it's really a more basic workwear. And on top of that, it has been made only with the fabric construction. So it doesn't have any chemicals on it. So you can wash it many times and it will always keep the functionality.
And can you give us some more information about the knitting technology behind that?
I would inform you, like, if you're interested on that, to go to visit Karl Mayer. But basically what I think they have done, it's they have worked on a flag knitting machine, and probably they have reduced the density of the yarns in order to not allow to pass the ultraviolet light.
And if I look at this jacket, I come back to the first question I asked you, where fashion and performance, if it touches and where it touches. And I have the feeling like this could be like an everyday jacket.
Exactly. That's, for example, you can go like on a hiking or just on a walk on a city and you can wear that jacket and you know that you are protected. And it's fresh as well because it has 30% of breathability. That's important when we are talking about heat and, of course, you sweat. So it's nice to have some breathability.
If you're interested into the topic where functionality and fashion cross or don't, or what we need in different forms of production, please make sure to also join the VDMA TFL press conference at 1:30 today in Hall 8.1 in the conference room. This is also going to be a topic over there. But we're not done here yet. This was just a little break for publicity. Let's go on to our third model over here. This is the Royotech Timeless GRS Multinorm PPE fabrics. And would you say that this product is already a sign of a new industry standard, or is it still something like a pioneer, kind of special?
I mean, Tech, it's something we have seen many times, but here the innovation is that they are using recycled fabrics and recycled yarns as well. And this is something that we are starting to see more and more, especially because we have like some legislations that they are coming towards sustainability. We have as well certain issues on raw materials, and the innovation fact here is they have used this recycled material. It's performing exactly the same because it has the same standards, it has passed all the standards, and it can protect the workers as if it was like from, let's say, virgin materials. And that, I think it's something, it's a road that we have to start thinking, and as well lose the fear, because sometimes when you say, okay, we have a garment or a fabric that has been recycled, an aramide or a PBI that has been recycled, it's like, well, maybe it's not going to perform the same, but it does. And we have to rely as well on the testing.
So it's important to show that this kind of product actually functions to make it a standard in the long run.
Exactly.
And when do we notice that something becomes a standard?
I think that when we actually need it, So when we start like talking and repeating and repeating and repeating, and you see that it's normal, so it becomes like a standard and a model like to follow.
And you've been part of the expert jury to choose all the
Yes.
products we just saw. What would you say that these are all kind of isolated cases, like the light that we can see and that we need to standardize, or is it also a broader trend?
No, I think it's something that we are seeing more and more, like on the trade fair shows. And for example, we have a good example now, like the Molotov cocktail, really reducing the weight of fabrics in certain like operational cases, especially because we are thinking on ergonomics and of course protection, because every time we want more and more. Here it's like workwear that can be used as well as fashion, and it has like an add-on on protection. And of course, here we have the sustainability part that I think makes the difference, that we have to start using and reusing materials because they can perform exactly the same.
Thank you, Judith. I can see that a lot of you were taking notes while we were speaking, so maybe there are also some questions coming up from the audience. There's already a hand going up. Is there a microphone is coming to you? Just wait. To your left, there's a microphone. Then we can also hear you.
This is Rakesh Kumar from Tekoya, Mumbai. My question is from the consumer point of view. Those performance apparels which can be used in regular attire, the one which is just behind you, like a warp-knitted jacket, on the price points, what would be the difference?
Well, I think that's something you have to discuss absolutely with the brands. We know, of course, that price is an issue and it's one of the priorities. Well, probably in performance apparels, it's normally the second priority to choose a garment. But related on pricing, specifically on those products, I think it's better that you direct directly to the booth that they have been appearing here, or later I can mention directly to you.
So make sure to look at the stands
Exactly.
from the producers and to ask all your detailed questions about pricing and so on. Any other question? I'll give you a second. Otherwise, I would say, Judith, thank you so much for your insights. You will be doing
Performance apparels of stage. We will start today. I will run 2 shows. I will give you some details, and you will have all the booths and everyone who has worked on those amazing apparels. And tomorrow I will do 3 shows, same as Thursday, but on Friday we will close with 2 shows. I think you have all the timings on the program, but of course I will be guiding you through the 11. They're the 11 selected products.
Then just answer one last question, because we still have the whole week in front of us with
Yes.
2 fairs happening at the same time here in
Exactly.
Frankfurt. What are you personally looking forward to the most?
Me, personally, well, I have really, of course, I'm wearing something that it's electronics and textiles integrated, that it can have a reaction. So I would love to see like more smart textiles, e-wearables, because especially for protection and for certain apparels like those ones, I think it's really great to have a control on, well, or at least a feedback from the garment to the user, or probably even to the control. That's something I'm looking forward to see. Of course, I would like to see more sustainability, more recycled fibers on the more recycled fibers and fabrics that they perform as well as is the wear virgin.
Which brings Texprocess and Techtextil
And of course,
very well
in
together.
Texprocess, I would love to see like some AI integration in the machinery, because I think that's gonna be changing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Judith.
Bye.
And I'm back. With that, I give back to Yvonne Seifert, Techtextil Head of Marketing and Communication.
Much, Merle, and big thank you to Judith as well to running us through all the products we've just seen. Now, what we've seen, I think it's a good example of how innovation can become to life. And if you walk around this hall, you're going to see loads and loads of those examples. So this was just kind of the cliffhanger for today's day. So thank you very much for joining us. If you feel like having more questions, you need any support, my team and I will be around. Judith will be here for interviews as well as Detlef Braun and Olaf Schmidt, Vice President of Textiles and Textile Technologies. Don't see him at the moment, but he should be there. There he is. So if you feel free, just, if questions coming up, get in touch with them. I would like to thank the whole team who've been working on this presentation, backstage as on the stage. I think it's been a very different press conference today, so thank you very much. But before you actually dive into the fair, I would like to point out 3 highlights. I can really recommend that you put it in your calendar. The first one was mentioned by Merle already, the press conference of the VDMV TFL. They conducted a new market study. So they're gonna reveal and share the learnings with you later on this day. And of course, our Innovation Award ceremony in the late afternoon, so please put this in your calendar as well. And just to let you know, there will be no press happy hour in the press center. Very important, because what we like to do is to celebrate all our award winners together with you. So join the ceremony and celebrate afterwards at the media reception. And last but not least, we do have a very interesting discussion coming up tomorrow. Oratex will be there as well as the European Commission, and they're going to talk about the competitiveness of the European market. So those are the highlights I can recommend. There are probably a lot more, and I hope to see you at any of those highlights and share your ideas on it. So thank you very much. Have a highly interesting and inspiring day, and I see you around.